Hello students, in the last video we have studied about the abiotic components of the ecosystem, and that was light, temperature and soil. We saw how these are going to be affecting the life of the organisms. Today I am sending you this video on the next part, that is food chain and food web. This is going to be connected to the biotic factors or biotic components of the ecosystem. If you remember, in my previous videos, we have seen about the biotic factors. In that, we studied about the producers and consumers and different types of consumers like primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers and so on. Today we are going to be connecting these biotic factors with each other based upon their food habits, and that is going to be nothing but the food chain. Let us see about the food chain. So what do you mean by food chains? Remember, each and every organism is going to be dependent on the other organism for the food, for the survival. Suppose an organism is not eating food, then it cannot survive. Except only for plants. Plants, being the producers, are preparing their own food using the abiotic or inorganic components like the minerals from the soil, water and light, and hence they are called as producers. Apart from the producers, all the other organisms are consumers, because consumers are going to be depending directly or indirectly on the producers only. So one organism is eating the another, and that organism in turn is eating someone else, and hence the food chain continues. So let us see what is food chain. Flow of energy in an ecosystem is going to be a one-way process. Sun is giving us the energy. Sun is going to be the main source of energy. If we are living today, it is going to be because of the sun. Without the sun, there is no life form possible. Ultimately, sun becomes the main source of energy for all the living organisms. From the sun, this energy is taken up by the plants. So from when the plants are going to be taking the energy, they are going to be doing it by a process known as photosynthesis. Then these plants in turn are being eaten by the consumers. Suppose I am going to be having a grasshopper. A grasshopper is feeding on the grass. He becomes the consumer, that is primary consumer. Now suppose I am having a frog. Frog is eating the grasshopper. So now grasshopper is a primary consumer, but frog becomes the secondary consumer. Then we are having an eagle. Eagle eating the frog. So the eagle becomes the tertiary consumer. So in this manner, from sun, the energy has flowed to the eagle. And this is going to be in only single direction, one way. That energy is not going back to sun. So in fact, it is going to be flowing only in single direction. The sequence of organisms through which the energy flows is known as the food chain. So this energy flow from one organism to the next, from next to the next, is going to be nothing but the food chain. What are the important facts that we have to remember over here? In a food chain, each organism obtains energy from the one at level below. Like we have seen over here, the grasshopper is getting the energy from the green plants or the leaf. The frog is getting it from the grasshopper. So here we can see that in the food chain, organisms obtain energy from the one at the level below. Plants are called the producers because they create their own food through photosynthesis. Photo is light, synthesis is production. So using the sunlight and other inorganic components, only the plants that are the producers are having the ability to produce their own food. So they become the producers. Apart from that, we all the animals are consumers because they cannot create their own food. They must eat plants or other animals to get the energy that they need. And hence, all the other organisms are going to be called as the consumers now. In this food chain, suppose if I want to study the food chain, I have to study it in a proper manner. So, depending upon the food chain, the organisms can be arranged into a pyramid form known as the trophic levels. Trophic level is nothing but the consumers at which level they are, primary, secondary, tertiary. So based upon that, we are having the trophic levels. So in this trophic levels of the food chain, we are having different organisms like producers and consumers. Producers always form the base of the pyramid because they are producing, they are the main which are going to be eaten by everyone directly or indirectly. So they are forming the base of the trophic level or first trophic level. I can call it the T1 or the first trophic level. Whereas the secondary consumers and tertiary consumers are coming further, we can see that the primary consumers are going to be those herbivores which are depending on the producers. So we call them as the second trophic level. Whereas the primary carnivores, also known as secondary consumers, are going to be those which are feeding on the herbivores. So we are calling it as third trophic level. In the same manner, we can see that there are going to be the quaternary consumers also who are feeding on the primary carnivores or secondary consumers. So they are going to be called as fourth trophic level. So the food chains are different in different organisms. It is not that this is only going to be the basic food chain. It is just an example of how food chain can be. And decomposers are another important part but which are not included into the food chains. Coming to the types of the food chains. So let us see which are the types of the food chains. There are two types of food chains because here, as I told you, the decomposers are not included in this food chain. So we are putting it into the two types. One is going to be the grazing food chain and the second one is going to be the dietary food chain or that which is of the decomposers. So coming to the first one, that is the grazing food chain. So what is the grazing food chain? The consumers utilizing plants as their source, in which plants are going to be the main source or starting of the food chain. The producers, they are forming the base, are going to be called as a grazing food chain. This food chain begins from the primary, that is from the green plants, and the primary consumer is the herbivore. So what is the condition or what is the grazing food chain? Grazing food chain is one in which plants is going to be the starting part and then feeding on this green plant should be the herbivores. Then it is going to be called as the grazing food chain. Most of the ecosystem in nature follows this type of the food chain. Example, you can take grass is the producer, grasshopper is going to be the herbivore, and birds are going to be the secondary consumers, and a falcon becomes the tertiary consumers. So here it's another example of the grazing food chain. You can observe how long it can be. Suppose I am going to be having a flower. Flower is a plant product, so it becomes the producers. So flowers and the leaves are going to be consumed by a caterpillar who is becoming a consumer or a herbivore. Now here frog is eating this caterpillar, so he becomes the secondary consumer. A snake becoming a tertiary consumer is feeding on the frog. Owl feeding on the snake becomes the quaternary consumer. So in this manner, we can see grazing food chains are going to be usually long food chains. Many types of the organisms are usually involved in the grazing type of food chain. The second one is going to be the dietous food chain. So what is this dietous food chain? This type of food chain starts from dead organic matter of decaying animals and plant bodies to microorganisms and then to dietous feeding organisms and other predators. This is a short food chain, and usually we can see that mainly the decomposers are going to be involved over here. Because here we are talking about the decaying. The first primary base of the dietous food chain is going to be the decaying animals and plant bodies. It is going to be starting from the dead organic matter and not from the producers. So there are going to be organisms who are going to be deriving the energy from the dead organic matter, and hence this becomes the dietous food chain. The food chain depends mainly on the influx of organic matter produced in another system. The organism of the food chain includes algae, bacteria, fungi, protozoa, insects, nematodes like earthworms, etc. So here is a dietous food chain. In this also the sun is only the source of energy, because from the sun only the plants will grow and then they are dead. So this dead remains are having the energy in the form of the organic matter. Now this can be consumed by the bacteria or another nematode like millipede, or through aerobic respiration, and gets converted into the inorganic nutrients which is going to be now absorbed by the plants. This is all necessary for the maintenance of your ecosystem. So in this way we can see that there are going to be two types of food chains, that is dietous food chain and the first one, that is going to be the grazing food chain. Now coming to the significance of food chain. Why do we need to understand the food chain? The knowledge of food chain helps us in understanding the feeding relationship as well as the interaction between organism and ecosystem. So what it is doing? It is making us or helping us to understand how one organism is depending on another, how it is going to be interacting with another based upon its feeding relationship, based upon its food, what it is eating. It also helps us in understanding the mechanism of energy flow. By studying the food chains, we are able to understand that energy flow is always unidirectional. From sun it is coming and it is flowing in only one single direction from one tropic level to another tropic level, and this energy is getting circulated in the ecosystem. Hence, food chains are helping us in understanding the mechanism of energy flow and circulation of matter in ecosystem. And lastly, we can see here, it also helps us to understand the movement of toxic substances and the problem associated with biological magnification in the ecosystem. What is this biological magnification? You will be studying in detail in the further classes, but here in brief I would like to explain biological magnification is nothing but something which is getting accommodated, accumulated into the organism in the food chain. For example, suppose I am going to be taking, so let us consider a grazing food chain over here. So suppose I am going to be putting a kind of pesticide to this plant. So when I am putting the pesticide to the plant, the caterpillar who is eating that pesticide is going to be accumulating it in its body. Because it is neither able to digest, it is not able to digest, so it is accommodated or accumulating it into the body. Now in this flower or in this plant, that pesticide must be in the lower concentration, in that only little might be the caterpillar has eaten. But the frog, when it is eating the caterpillar, it is not eating only one caterpillar, it will eat many caterpillars. So it is accommodating more amount of pesticide. In the same manner, when the snake is eating different frogs, it will again increase the concentration of that pesticide. And this continues until the owl. So in this manner, little bit of pesticide that was present over here, it gets accommodated into the higher trophic levels. And it is harming the organisms at higher trophic levels. We'll see about this in much detail in further classes, but here that is what is biological magnification. So problems associated with this biological magnification, we are able to study and understand using the food chain. So this is going to be the significance of the food chain. Now my question is, when I am saying the food chain, so in a food chain, I have been kept telling you that the caterpillar is going to be eaten by the frog, frog is eating the snake. But herein, is it so that snake is only eating a frog or frog is only eating a caterpillar? No, it is not so. So what is going to be happening? That we will see in the next class or in the next video, and that is to study the food webs.